we are in a very bullshit part of the economy. We are just everything. Everyone is kind of doing their own PPP scam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But instead, it's like most people who know about this guy are like, oh, that's the guy who's like does space. That's cool.
Yeah, he does space and he posts.
Yeah,
and again, this goes back to like a lot of normal people are just cringe. So when they see like that 9gag style meme, they're like, "That's funny. I like that."
Yeah,
that's like me. That's a meme I would share. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see. People sort of cast Elon Musk as like a classic, like robber baron type billionaire, but I just see him as like, it's like if someone told me the ShamWow guy was worth $300 billion, I'd be like, no, he's not. And then he was. I'd be like, okay, something is fucked up here. I don't know what it is. We got to figure it out.
How does that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how does that not like immediately fire a synapse in your brain where you're like, this literally does not make sense?
It's crazy.
Like, and you know, we've often talked about the financialization of like every vertical in American industry where, you know, you can get a better return and a boost on your stock prices by downsizing rather than like increasing your output.
Yeah.
And like truly earning revenue by, creating more products or even making something that's different or unique. It's all about brand positioning. Elon Musk does a pretty good job with that. Both like when he personally makes himself seem like a normal person.
Yeah.
I guess as best as he can with like shitty fucking deep fried memes or, you know, doing space stuff, but like putting himself as like the brand spokesperson in a similar way to Steve Jobs. But ultimately it's all, all of it is just a fucking endless sequence of schemes. And as long as you
economy.
As long as you have enough people that have also done their own schemes beforehand and like have a bunch of capital and have a bunch of power as a consequence of that, as long as you can get them on and have them also be your advocate because now they have a vested interest in your success and like to make sure the grift continues, you're fine. And you can always, rely on the government to protect you too in the end.
Yeah. So many of those tech billionaires, like they're billionaires off of companies that like have never turned a profit, like lose X amount of money every month. Their target is to lose reduce that amount of money that they're losing. And the thinking and the valuation with a lot of them is, oh no, we're just going to have them keep operating at a loss until they have like monopoly power.
Yeah.
And they're near monopoly power in the market and can set prices. And yeah, it's like that should be, I feel like that should be a red flag. I mean, I guess clearly like banks and shit are like, yeah, no, we can just keep lending them money because we think ours is going to take over. But it just strikes me as a very strange part of the economy. And now it's a huge portion of our new billionaires are that. Like I almost wish we had more John Paulsons, who's like, he's an awful Republican dude, but he's the guy who made like $6 billion on like 4 trades in 2008.
Wait, really?
He was the hedge fund guy who bet on the housing market collapse and the credit default swap.
I mean, that's more honest than
because
whatever the fuck we're doing now.
With him, it's like, man, like you're like obviously like guy's evil. He's fucking, funding like charter schools and like all this shit, and probably has bundled tons of awful shit. It's like a New York Republican dude. At the same time, I respect him because I love gamblers, and it's like at least I can. Man, at least you made that money by gambling. That's awesome. I wish you were a better guy, but like, hey, fuck it, man. We're all trying.
Okay.
I at least I don't think your thing's like fully a scam,
So, speaking of scams, and I need a segue in here. Democrats are planning a tax to pay for the Biden agenda that would affect 700 of America's super rich.
All right.
It's called the billionaires tax. Proposed tax on the wealthiest people in the United States would include Elon Musk, friend of the show,
yes.
Jeff Bezos, my boss, Bill Gates, Illuminati, Mark Zuckerberg, also Illuminati, and Charles Koch. So on Wednesday, they unveiled the new billionaires tax proposal. Now, this is on the tail end of the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation infrastructure, human infrastructure package, which of course everything has to be infrastructure, because you can't, like, Americans are just not conditioned into thinking like healthcare is a fucking human right. And, you can't just be like, no, this is a good social safety net. So you have to, like, lie to them and tell them it's actually infrastructure. Which is so stupid, but whatever fucking works. Right. And obviously the original plan was supposed to be 6, and then it immediately went down to 3.5, which Joe Manchin's original number was $4 trillion back in January, before this became like a reality.
Every time they meet him where he's at, he's like, oh, I actually meant half that.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding. I was just lying. Yeah. You can't trust a dude on a houseboat, dude. I just, I'm sorry. Anyway, so they unveiled that, and it's an entirely new entry in the tax code designed to help pay for Joe Biden's sweeping domestic policy package and edges party closer to an overall agreement on a shrunken version of the administration's original $3.5 trillion flagship legislation. The proposed tax would hit the gains of those with more than $1 billion in assets or incomes of more than $100 million a year, and it would begin to shore up the big social services climate change plan Biden is racing to finish. Obviously, this is bull. Do you think this will? Do you have any idea? Like, do you think this will ever pass?
I think it would pass. Okay, I think the biggest problem they have with this right now is that this has just been going on too long. Anytime the Democrats are stuck in a legislative process, it will tank how much people care about it and how much people who like hyper news media consumers will actively want it. Every month that it goes on past the first month, we'll just fucking demolish it.
Obamacare.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing happened with Obamacare.
Right.
Otherwise, supposedly incredibly popular policy that was supposed to be popular, which essentially became a wealth transfer for insurance companies. But the ideas within Obamacare that are super popular were completely lost in the conversation, because that window gave Republicans an opportunity to just shit all over it, lie about certain aspects of it, death panels, whatnot. And to the average American, they thought, oh man, I fucking hate gridlock. These dipshits can't do anything. Right.
And that was all because like Obama punted to Congress. He was like too afraid to touch it that much.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it worked out for him. Everyone likes him. But sort of I feel like what Joe could do here is he could be like, all right, fuck it. This isn't going to happen. Wait like 2 weeks, and then like the exact same thing with the billionaire proposal. Then I think it would have a significantly better chance of happening.
Yeah.
I don't know how good. I don't know what significantly brings that chance up to, really. And yes, this sounds like a stupid idea, but I am tailoring it to how we cover things in this country.
Yeah. At the heart of the proposal,
we have short memories.
By the way, at the heart of the proposal, there's a change in what the federal government will consider income for the wealthiest individuals in the country, rather than just basing tax on a paycheck a billionaire receives from a company, because like Jeff Bezos'
makes
salary
like
is
$75K.
Yeah, $75K a year.
Or he did when he was in charge.
The tax would target the unrealized gains of billionaires, which includes the billions of dollars of shares they hold in their companies, right? And I don't even understand how they would write this into the tax code. It's like, what are you going to just like name them?
It would be pretty unprecedented, right? There's not like something this specific is. I don't know how many times we've done something this specific in the last 60 years. It would be cool, but so is it they're saying like you owe this amount, if you don't have that on hand liquid, you have to sell X shares to pay for it? Because that would be the problem is, as always, the courts. This seems like courts would murder this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because they're going to argue, well, the government shouldn't if you haven't broken a law, the government shouldn't force you to sell your company, even though it's like, yeah, who gives a shit? But that would be the argument they'd have in court.
Yeah. And the court system would absolutely eviscerate this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is literally what the court system is designed to destroy.
Yeah. That's why these guys pay for the Federalist Society.
Yeah. This and like allowing Nestle to use slave labor and keep taking over the water supplies of like indigenous communities is literally the entirety of the justice system, all the way from the lower courts to the fucking Supreme Court. as you also pointed out with the Federal Society. So,
why can't they just? I mean, why can't they just do like a normal wealth tax? Why can't they do something where it's like, all right, everyone has ways of hiding this shit, but yeah, we know who the billionaires are. Everyone has to give us like X amount. Why can't they just do that?
The thing that is frustrating about this conversation is that people will always be like, well, how are you going to tax, like, capital gains that are unrealized? Like, blah, blah, blah. It's
right.
Well, you fucking do that with houses. You can just literally have
same idea.
You can literally, it's the same exact concept. You can have a group of individuals who calculate precisely what the unrealized gains would look like on a fucking company like this, and force the hands of the mega wealthy to potentially pay, but there is no enforcement mechanism. The IRS is gutted. They actively avoid going after the super wealthy because they just do not have the manpower.
Oh yeah, and if you're poor, that's who gets audited. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Audited.
Like it's like
a bad system.
It's really fucked up.
I'm saying it, dude.